Hey Lenormand lovers, it's Lisa Young Sutton with a fun little video for you. And its purpose is to get you thinking about the adjectives involved in using the cards as descriptors. Now you will find this information in my book, in the print book. It's on page 52, okay, under descriptive groups. Okay, so in the ebook, it's under the chapter titled Theme Groups. Okay, so let's go. This is my my Magisches German Lenormand deck that I am using. I love this deck. Is it the cutest thing? Okay, so what am I talking about here? Well, you know, there are cards that make things smaller and larger, and there are negative and positive ways to make something larger and smaller. There are cards that multiply or divide things or slow things down or speed things up. You know, that's what I'm referring to. Okay, so let's start with cards that indicate more than one of something. First of all, we have the whip. The whip is something repeated, but it also refers to more than one. The birds traditionally shows a pair. Here you see the traditional German pair of owls, right? Though some modern decks show a whole flock of birds, but the card can reference, because it was traditionally a pair of birds, it can reference a pair of something, a couple, okay, or twins. All right, the stars is the card of many of the same thing or like things or something spreading, but it's always a lot of something. There are a lot of stars in the sky, right? Okay, fish is also the card of many, right? It's the card of a multitude of things, increase, okay? And then we have the ways, or the crossroads, or paths, as it is usually called, which generally shows two paths, right? So it is the card of more than one of something, or at least two of something. Okay? So those are the cards that reference multiples or more than one of something. And then we have cards that indicate speed, right? The rider is a fast card. Something is coming quickly. The clover is also a fast card. It references something that pops up quickly and disappears quickly. It's short-lived, right? So it's fast. It's a fast card. The scythe is a fast action. It's a sudden action, right? So it's fast. The birds is also a fast card, right? It's all that brain chatter and that you know, changing your mind quickly, and it's, you know, I mean, birds are fast moving. Okay, so it is a fast acting card. All right, and then slow. What things are slow? The ship is slow. It is a slow moving, long journey, right? So if you think of the rider as fast, the ship is slow. The tree is slow. It's slow. It references slow growth. It's things that change very slowly, and that's why it's the card of patience. Okay, mountains. The mountain is references slow because it's something that slows you down. Okay, the mice. I know people. A lot of times people say, "Well, mice are fast." You know, if I see mice, they're quick, right? It's the action of the card that you are looking at. Okay, the mice references decay and wasting, and it's a slow decline of something. A slow decay is a slow action. Okay, erosion. It's the card of erosion. That is slow. It is not fast. And then the lily. Why is the lily slow? Because it's the card of, it's another card of patience, right? But it's a card of maturity, and you know, it took someone a long time to get to where they are. So it's and it's asking you to calm down it just is a slow acting card. And lastly is the cross. Now, why is the cross slow? Well, you know, if you're carrying a cross, it's going to slow you down. But it's the card of carrying a burden of that you can't put down. You know, it just drags you down. It slows you down. Okay. So that's why it is a slow card. And then we have cards that reference something continuous, right? I mean, while the whip may be a back and forth repetitive action, the ring is the card of a continuous, a steady, continuous action, okay? And then the opposite of continuous is temporary. The clover is temporary, okay? So we have continuous, temporary. All right, and that just like the scythe is the card of a sudden end, right? Sudden ending, what's the opposite in a way of that? A new beginning. Sudden ending, child, new beginning. Something that's made smaller in a negative way, of course, the mice and the scythe. Scythe edits, it cuts things out. So both of those can reference something made smaller in a negative way. Something made smaller in a positive way would be the child, right? If the child is following the bear, right? The bear is large, the child is small, but these are both positive cards. So the child is making something small in a positive way. So is the clover, right? Clover is small, but it's a positive card as well, okay? Then something that's made larger in a negative way, mountain. Right? Don't make a mountain out of a molehill, right? That's a large negative card. That's when you're making something bigger than it has to be, okay? Larger positive would be the sun, right? And the bear. Yes, the bear is a positive card. It's the card of prosperity and protecting what you have. You have to have something to protect. So yes, it's positive. It's the card of strength and control and power. All positive things. Okay, and of course the sun is, you know, bigger than life, right? So it doesn't get any bigger. The sun is huge. It makes things grow. So this reference is making something bigger in a positive way. And then we have cards that reference something short term. As I already said, the clover is short term. Clouds is short term in a negative way, right? Clouds appear and they disappear very quickly. Storms come and go. So the clouds is short term. Birds is a short term card also, right? It refers to short term temporary stresses, right? What else is short term? The children don't stay children forever, okay? They have to grow up. So yes, that is also a short term card. Okay, long term. What's long term then? The house. Houses are not built overnight. It's the card of traditions and something you can rely on, right? It's a long-term card. Tree, slow growth, right? Trees don't grow up overnight either. Oh man, I've planted a lot of trees and they take years to grow. So yes, it's another long-term card. The dog is a long-term card because it's the card of faithfulness, right? It's like sit, stay. I always say when I look at the dog card, sit, stay, and it's because it's not you're not going anywhere. It's what you're faithful to, or who's faithful to you. They've been around for a long time. They're not here today and gone tomorrow. That's long-term. All right. The tower. The tower is the card of longevity. You think a house takes a while to build? You know, try building a tower. So towers, yes, long term, unchanging, right? That's why it's one of the reasons why it's a card of, you know, government and all of that. It's institutions, you know, they are built to last a very long time. Other long-term cards would be, well, the ring, right? I mean, you don't get married for a day, right? You don't enter a contract for a few minutes. It's a long-term card, you know, because it's that repeating cycle, that repetitive cycle. So yes, it's long-term. And then, of course, the lily is also a long-term card. Anchor, of course. That is the long-term card, right? That's the epitome of the long-term card. That and the Tower, really. Okay, you don't drop your anchor for a second, you know. It's when you drop it, you're intending to stay for a while. Okay, so it is long term. You drop your anchor, and of course the cross is long term too. It's burdens that have to be endured. Okay, so what else do we have? High, tall. What references something high and tall? Anything that I think you can figure this out already, right? The Tower is tall. Birds are high. Okay, stars are high. You could say, if we could just stick to the word high, yes, towers are high. Okay, the stork is high up in the sky. A mountain is high, right? The sun is high, the moon is high. You know, all the celestial cards are high up in the sky. So they all reference something high. These are things that can be helpful when you are using the cards to find missing objects, okay? So what's the opposite of high? Tall would be low, short. So, you know, what is low? Clovers. Small, right? Can't get any lower than the coffin. The child is low, right? They're small, they're short. Okay? Mice are on the ground typically. You know, they're tiny. They're low too. They're also often found in the basement. I know they can be found in the attic too, but it's still a card that will lead you to believe that something is small, low down, low to the ground. Even if it's in the attic, it's on the ground, right? Okay, and then fish. That's the card of depth, right? Fish are down in the water. Okay, they're not floating on the top of the water, unless you have a dead goldfish. Okay, and then the anchor. Very low, right? You drop the anchor, it's low, it's on the ground. All right, so then we have cards of something changing and something that's unchanging, resistant to change or fixed, right? So what are cards of change? Rider brings change. The ship brings change. Clouds brings change. Scythe, definitely change. Of course, the stork is the card of change. The ways, right? This is alternatives, going a different way. This brings change. The mice brings change, right? It's going to bring loss, but that's a change. And fish. Fish can definitely bring change. It's adding something, right? But it's the card of adding value. It's transactions. It's all related to change. Okay, something that's fixed and unchanging, right? Think about things that are reliable and steady. And okay, so that would be the house. The house is fixed. Trees, fixed. Coffin, fixed. Whip, too, because, whip. Also because it's something that you keep repeating, that you're struggling with, right? It's repeated effort. So that is, you know, that can really go either way, changed or fixed. But, you know, depends on how you look at it. Depends on the context of the reading. Okay, fixed, dog, stay, stay, fixed, tower, not changing. Long term, right? Fixed, the ring, the anchor, the cross, okay? Then we also have cards that show expansion and reduction. Okay, so what's expanding? The ship, you're expanding your world, right? Definitely expansion. That's the stars, right? It's the card of spreading, of expanding, okay? The garden. The garden is expanding your world. It's including others. It's many people. It's like the outside versus inside. Right? Garden is outside, house is inside, inner world, outer world, so it's expansive. And then we have the fish is also expanding, okay? Like I said, it's adding value, it's increase. And then reducing, of course, right away, you think of the mice, you think of the scythe. Okay? That's it for today, my friends. I hope that was helpful. And now, you can all go play with your cards, okay? you can go play with your adjectives and maybe go look for something that's missing and use your adjectives. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.